Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers in London. Today I'm looking at a book which has come to us from the Ark Group, which is Wilmington Legal. This book is called Optimising Client Service, and it's got a subtitle, Delivering Value and Enhancing Experience. It's been edited by Laura Armentano. It's an important book, I think, very much part of a series of management report books which the Ark Group have produced, and it's really a very useful tool, I think, for the management of your law firm or your chambers. Elizabeth and I have given the title of our book review the following: How to Hang On to Your Clients if you're running a law firm, that is. And that's exactly what this is all about, because it's a very sensible guide. Let's have a look at the book first of all. There it is, front cover. It's a paperback, it's not a big book. There is the spine, and then there's the back. Now you can probably see it's not the easiest to read, but you can see there's quite a lot of information there. The back of the book, there's no index for these books. It runs to 170 odd pages. The basic chapters flow as text, free-flowing text, and you've got numbers for the various parts of the individual chapters. There's the detail about the book itself there. Then you've got the contents section. You've got an executive summary. You can see the contents section is split into various parts and runs through to 16 chapters in total. And as it's edited by Laura, there are individual people who've contributed. The names are contained in the book itself, and the names are listed by each chapter. Then you've got the executive summary itself, which is well worth reading right at the beginning to give you some idea of what in fact this book is about. Would have been nice probably to have had it numbered, but however it flows very well to read. Then you get into the list of the authors. These are the contributors listed there. I can't mention all of them by name, but each of them have detailed biographical details. You can see the information there as we run through. So depending on who it is you're looking for and reading about, you'll see that their biographical information is contained there. Then there is a foreword which has been written by Laura and a quote. Obviously the important point is part one, know your client, and then it runs on from there for the various parts. Part one, know your client. Then part two, the client experience. Part three, client service innovation. Part four, client loyalty. So you can see the structure of the book. A lot of this is, I have to say, to a certain extent, it's common sense, but it's common sense gleaned on the expertise of a very large number of contributors over a substantial period of working life. So I think it's of great value to anybody in terms of firm management, apart from anything else. Now, what do we say about the book? We say this, say mainly at practitioners of corporate law. This is one of the latest of those invaluable consultancy titles published by the ever-reliable Ark Group. So it's part of Wilmington Legal, run by Mark Solon. Now, in what is probably an understatement, it's fair to say that Optimising Client Service is one of the most useful books available on how, if you're running a law firm, you can attract and hang on to new business in what the editor, Laura Armentano, describes as a low-growth, low-demand market where competition is only getting fiercer. And I'm afraid that's the way it is. It has been like that before. It's not as though it's all new to us, but it's a tough market out there, and therefore we want to keep the clients that we have nurtured and, of course, grow our businesses. Yes, it's tough out there then for most businesses, law firms in particular, and the book, fortunately, offers up a wealth of advice that can help you cope and cope profitably, because it presents in a handy paperback format, and it gives us the collective wisdom of 19 expert contributors, all of whom are highly experienced consultants across a range of disciplines relevant to raising profitability specifically for law firms. Most have provided consultancies for firms such as Freshfields, Herbert Smith, and many more on both sides of the Atlantic. The basic thrust of the book is in the direction of client care, arguably the one factor that helps you acquire the all-important competitive edge. And this point is driven home in the foreword, which reminds us that in a hyper-competitive market where there are literally hundreds of lawyers capable of solving the most pressing client problems, those lawyers who excel at client service have the most client loyalty, and with great client loyalty come myriad benefits. Absolutely true, and it's very important because keeping the client and keeping your own personnel are the two big features of making and sustaining a successful business. Now, you could argue, of course, that most law practices do recognise the need for providing legal services that are fundamentally client-centric. But as the book's editor points out, the challenge is to understand what clients value, how they experience your business, and how to translate that into exceptional service. And to this end, the book's 16 chapters cover 4 key areas of awareness and concern to any practitioner in a forward-looking firm going for growth. These come under the headings of Know Your Client, the client experience, client service innovation, and client loyalty. That's the 4 parts. Simple, straightforward concepts, perhaps, but not quite so simple to put in practice with profitable results. And I think this book is really very much of a friend to you if you feel that you might have lost a bit of the direction you're going in, or you're having a few difficulties, because business is business, and we've had a certain amount of stability, but we could be heading for some rockier times with Brexit, so we do have to be very realistic about what could be happening. Let me conclude by saying the help and advice contained in this book therefore make it a terrifically good investment for any practitioner keen to offer outstanding client service in a fiercely competitive marketplace. And the publication is dated and cited as at 2017, and I'm recording this in the late summer. There's the book again, there's the front of it, the side of it. It's available now in the bookshops. As I said, the important thing to do is to read the executive summary. It says here, in a low growth, low demand market where competition is only getting fiercer, holding on to clients has to be every law firm's priority. Exactly the case. And when it comes to client loyalty, legal expertise and a strong track record of results just aren't enough. So you've got to have that extra something. Just opening the book in a minute, the client experience, part 2. Bear in mind what the client wants, because I deal with, in my job as a barrister, I'm dealing directly with the client who's very nervous as we go into court. So I'm seeing him at quite often at his very worst. But of course I've got to value the client, as I do in every case. Every client is the most important person when we're in the room, because I've got to listen to what he says and make sure I can achieve the best result for him, sometimes against really difficult legal odds. For instance, this is chapter 5, the role of client journey mapping in building sustainable competitive advantage. And that's been written by Andrew Headley from Headley Consulting. So you see, very important, very shrewd advice given here in this particular chapter, mapping out the client journey and so forth. And then you've got, how do you run an effective client listening program, for instance? In other words, listening to what the client has as a problem and giving him the service that he requires. I say he, but I mean she as well, because we do have much more of a level playing field than we ever had before. That's the book anyway. As I say, there's a little bit on the back. I'd like to thank Laura very much. This is one of a series of books that she's edited on behalf of Ark Group. They're very good, and I believe they will be of great help to your firm. So a big thank you to everybody concerned at Ark and at Wilmington. Bye-bye.